How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. It finally happened. I am sort of needing to come out of retirement now. Before I begin, if you guys are interested in supporting this channel, check out my Webull referral link. This is a free trading app. If you just sign up, this will cost you nothing. You can get one free share of stock. If you deposit $100, you're gonna get another free share of stock, and this is no requirement to buy any stocks at all. You can just put $100 cash in there, wait for them to give you your 2 free shares of stock. You could liquidate it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. Check out my referral link down in the video description below. Now, previously, I've said in my videos where I said I'm semi-retired, I'm doing YouTube after all. Do you consider this being a job or not? When you consider that, I upload very consistently, Monday, Wednesday, Friday these days, that it could become like a job. You could sort of consider it like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of job. So the fact that I sold all my stocks, which means I no longer receive a consistent dividend, which means now I actually have to do this YouTube thing. If I suddenly stop, I'm not gonna receive dividends, I'm not gonna receive YouTube income, which means I am not earning any income and I cannot sustain myself. Therefore, I am not in early retirement or semi-retirement. Now, this is by no means permanent, right? Because I could essentially just go, hey, let me buy back into the stock market. Let me collect the dividends now. But the way I see it, the dividends are under siege here. I probably will not receive as much as I anticipated anyway. They might cut back on it, 25%, maybe half of it only. So as I'm waiting, you could kind of say that I have to do this YouTube thing in order to sustain myself, although my burn rate is really, really low, which I'll cover later. Now, this is actually a really great time to go over this Trinity Study thing, because most early retirement people, they're basing their early retirements around a thing called a Trinity Study, which is a study from 3 professors at Trinity University. They study what will happen if you have a certain amount in your retirement account and you start withdrawing a certain percentage, 3%, 4%, 5% or so, consistently every single year, and then see if you run out of money. If you run out of money, then those would be failures. So it just looks at, if you start at certain time in history, what are the odds that you would actually fail and when you would actually succeed? Because throughout the life cycle of the stock market, it's not always going up. So you could indeed retire at a certain point where the stock market drops a lot initially, and this would be a failure point for early retirement of this 4% rule thing. So check out this table I extracted from their study. So what I'm circling here is what people call the 4% rule. You want to be able to withdraw as much money as you can, because this means the less money that you need in your retirement account. So let's say you have $1 million in there, 4% rule. You can withdraw $40,000 every single year. This is a pretty comfortable retirement if you have $1 million. And you would essentially not deplete your retirement account for long durations. For over here, 15 years, you'll have a 100% success rate from the date of 1926 to 1995. So this study looks at the historic value of the stock market, and then you would also have a 100% success rate of 20-year retirement, 25-year retirement. So it really depends on how long you retire. If you retire earlier, then you have more chances of failure because you're withdrawing down on your retirement fund. And then when you hit 30 years, let's say you retire at 65, you need to retire for 30 years. By the time you're 95, some people are gonna definitely live this long. It says you have a chance of 95% success rate. So there's 5% chance that you have very, very bad luck. You retire right at the wrong time between 1926 and 1995. And this 5% chance will essentially mean you fail, which means you run out of money. Now, in between this failure, you're gonna have to see your retirement account dwindle, which is a very, very scary thing. Can you imagine if you're very close to running out, and let's say you have $80,000 left in your retirement account? Do you think you seriously would withdraw $40,000 thinking that you only have 2 years to live? No, if you have $80,000 left in your account, you're probably gonna skimp a little bit. You're gonna be like, you're running out of money. Why don't you only withdraw like $20,000 so that you can make it last a little bit longer? So as you approach running out of money, there's gonna be like really dire consequences. Now, I talk about this because the coming days is going to be the test for all these early retirement people, especially the young early retirement people, because they have never seen a dramatic drop in the stock market of, say, 50%. They have never put so much money in the stock market, 50% stocks, 50% bonds, and they have never seen, let's say, $1 million drop all the way to $500,000. Maybe it's like, not as bad, 40% drop. So it's $600,000. And when you see this yourself, you probably have to keep on reminding yourself, okay, Trinity Study, Trinity Study. Unless the United States is gonna self-implode, then this is most likely going to work out. You can have other kind of stock allocations such as 75% stock, 25% bonds, or 25% stock, 75% bonds. And when you do this, you'll have a different kinds of success rates. It shows mostly 100% from 15 to 25 years. But generally, if you hold more stocks, you have more chance of success. But when you hold more stocks, there's more volatility involved. Now, these early retirement people, including myself, if you have most of your money in the stock market, and let's say every single week it trickles down by a few percent and things look very, very grim. Right now, it doesn't look very grim. It looks like United States, it's opening back up. It looks like there's a possibility for a vaccine. If, let's say, there's a reinfection, if, let's say, there is a mortgage crisis, if a couple of banks fail or whatnot, and things look very, very grim, that is when there's going to be a point of people kind of questioning themselves, kind of reevaluating, hey, is this Trinity Study gonna work? Maybe it doesn't work for year 2020. Maybe this year is one of those bad years where you should not retire. Maybe it's one of those really long drawn out depressions or whatnot that if you try to use this rule, even if you retired a couple of years ago, this might not work. And the thing that will cause this to not work is if the United States dollar self-implodes, if somehow there's hyperinflation, the whole United States economy just implodes, and then all of a sudden, nobody's gonna be using United States dollars. All of a sudden, we're all gonna use Bitcoin or something, and we're gonna be trading in gold coins. If you think there's gonna be this apocalyptic thing gonna happen, then yeah, okay, maybe this 4% rule is not gonna work out. The plan with these 4% rule early retirement thing is to dollar cost average. You keep on putting money in the stock market, especially right now, you might go, oh, it's really low. Let me dollar cost average into it. Let me put more money in. Let me spend a little less and put even more money into the stock market so that when it does come back up, you're gonna make really nice gains on it. The thing is, you can see that it works 95% of the time between 1926 and 1995 if you do the 4% rule. If you do the 3% rule, then you have 100% of the time for past history that this is gonna work. So if you think the past 70 years is an indication of what's gonna happen the next 30 or 40 years, then yes, you can argue that if you do the 3% withdrawal rate, you are almost guaranteed that you're going to retire. And basically, you can use this 3% rule until you die. The thing here is that this 4% rule, 3% rule, whichever percent you wanna use, is it did not take into account investor emotions here. People won't behave like a robot, and most people have not tested this theory against an actual market drop when their entire life savings is in the stock market, half stocks, half bonds. Will you be miserable if the stocks drop 10%? And let's say every single month you draw a little bit out of your retirement account in order to live on, and then you see that it dropped. You really, really don't want to withdraw anything, but you have to because you're in retirement. You don't have any other income source. So are you still going to withdraw from your retirement account at this point? Or are you going to be like, oh my gosh, you feel really bad for drawing down on your retirement account? The thing is, before I sold all my stocks, I had a lot of money in dividend-paying stocks, such as IXC, AT&T, BAC. They collected a dividend of 6.78%, 6.69%, 2.95%, so around 6% on average. So if I had $400,000 in there, I'm going to get roughly $24,000 to live on, and I can definitely live on this because my expense rate is roughly $1,200. Oh, by the way, I canceled my insurance, and some of you said, oh my gosh, why are you doing it? Once you do it, you're gonna get penalized by certain states and stuff. The thing is, I did it in order to try out what will actually happen. And a lot of people said, don't recommend, your subscriber to do that. Yeah, I'm not recommending it. This is just what I personally do. But my monthly insurance was $94.44 before. And I rechecked my insurance quote. It's not that much different. It's even a little bit less actually because I changed my miles usage from 7,000 miles to 5,000 miles because of this pandemic thing. You're not gonna go around driving everywhere now. So in any case, I spend about $1,200 every single month now. it's probably going to fluctuate between 1200 and 1500 or so, depending what I buy, if I buy a bunch of electronics or whatnot. So you're looking at a burn rate of $14,000 to $20,000 per year. I can do this with 400K or so using the 4% rule. But the truth here is I pulled out of the stock market. I sold everything. So that means I'm not collecting anything, which means I need to work on YouTube. I have to make at least $1,200 on YouTube every single month in order to not dig into my cash pile. This is more like a mentality type of thing where you know that you have to work, you have to keep on churning out videos and whatnot, because I'm not living for free anymore. Technically, I'm not collecting dividends anymore. In the end, this is sort of like a technicality, right? Because I'm essentially doing exactly the same thing as when I said I was in semi-retirement. So what do you call it? Am I in semi-retirement? Am I retired fully? If you're retired, do you think that you should just sit around on the beach and do nothing? Or would you be doing YouTube videos that entertains yourself while you're doing it as well? This is what I am arguing for. This is what I'm still doing now, but with the exception now that I have to do it in order to make ends meet. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like. Check out my Webull referral link so that I can possibly make ends meet while I have all my stocks sold. And as always, don't forget to push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.